Hello guys, welcome back. We have a massive day today. I know I've been away for a couple of days, but we're back to work and we have a ginormous amount of information to bring you. I'm going to quickly jump in pretty much straight away. AJ, I know we're going to quickly come back to some charts as we have the CPI report being
Yeah.
released. So like I said, guys, this is kind of what we're looking at here. We are going to be staring at the CPI report. That will be coming out pretty soon, actually, and we'll look at that via Bloomberg. But anyway, so this is what we have: an expectation 6.1. If it comes in under, obviously markets pump. If it comes in under, even 7.3 for CPI, again, markets are going to pump. And I think that probably could happen. I think it will. I think it will happen. CPI could make you rich. One little bit of concern that I have is, as we saw Friday, producer price index. Now, usually consumer price index begins to kind of feel a lot more pain before the producer price. And so because that slowed, this is giving, I guess, a few people a little bit of a worry. But overall, AJ, as you can see here, you just mentioned off camera that we are in fact pumping going into this news, which is relatively good, isn't it? It makes us pretty happy.
It does, yeah. We are getting a pump into this. The only issue that I see on the technical side of things is that we're still not getting that bullish volume in. We're pushing, we're seeing the price increase. We're continuously seeing this price push towards the upside. We're having pumps, then we're having a slight pullback, another pump, slight pullback or consolidation, and then we're having another pump. However, the bullish volume just gets smaller and smaller each time. And for me, for this to be a sustainable pump, we need to have a big spike in volume. So if this pump is going to continue, then we need to start seeing that bullish volume coming in. However, the bullish volume is not coming in right now. If I just bring up the charts quickly, we're actually seeing Bitcoin pump right now. I did actually have a trade open. Where is it? But that stop loss has just been hit, unfortunately. So yeah, we've taken a loss there. But again, looking at the past trades that we've taken what? 10 trades now, 8 of them winning trades, 2 of them losing trades. That's not a bad score to have, I don't think. But yeah, we are pumping. CPI data's out, is it? Pumping.
Yep, it's out. So as you can see, we did just have a bit of a pump there. Let me just quickly do this. Here we are. Hang on. Yeah. Pause this for a sec.
I've got it on my screen here. So it's come out at 6% core inflation rate year over year, and then inflation rate year on year has come out as 7.1. So both of them lower than forecasted.
Which is very good. You're right. This is exactly what we want to be seeing here. Seeing this, it does mean that obviously inflation is going in the right direction. So have a quick look. How's this as it's being announced? How is this relating to the price of Bitcoin and obviously our crypto assets?
We've just hit 18,000, sat just below it right now. But yeah, we just hit 18,000, which is good. But we are going to see some resistance at 18,000, I would expect. Maybe that's why we're seeing a slight pullback here. 18,000 is a big psychological level as well. But yeah, we are seeing the market pump because of this. And if we come back to the daily, we're still not seeing that bullish volume come in. And I'd like to see more bullish volume to keep the momentum going. But yeah, it's looking good right now. And maybe we could see the price come up to $18,500, which is that next major resistance level.
Yeah, I'm just I'm gonna play this in the background here.
Prices, food 0.5%, food at home up 0.5%. So energy down, but food up for the month. Energy down 1.6%. Natural gas, gasoline, both declining during the month.
That's good.
So it does look like we have a downside surprise. Let's see what kind of market reaction we're getting, Judd, while I look at. Do you want to guess? We also saw numbers.
What do you think's happening? Equity's absolutely flying. Similar move to the move we saw last month. Perhaps not as large, but we're higher by almost 3% on the S&P 500. A shift high going into the data. A big shift high coming out of it. You want to see a move into the bond market. Bring up to.
There we go. Gonna pause that. So just as we can see here, maybe you want to bring up the charts again here, AJ. So like you said, to kind of dissect it as we're looking through the charts. we are seeing that overall food is up slightly. But the main thing, especially with the CPI, is all around energy prices coming down, which is very, very good. That then, brings us to quite a nice conclusion, really, of actually seeing, the cost of living coming down, which is actually, it's pretty essential, really. Forecast over at 7.3 on the CPI, and 7.1 was the actual. But previously it was 7.7, so that's a 0.6 drop, which is actually really, really good, really encouraging for us, and especially below the expectation for core inflation, which kind of adds to the story that we should be pretty confident coming into the next meeting that we have with the Fed tomorrow.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to? Well, it most definitely is going to affect what Jerome Powell says, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, look, I know there was a little bit of question around a 75 basis point again, because I believe we've had, what's it now, 3 so far? 375, or was it 475 basis points? I believe it was 3. And so, we're around about that 4%. 3.75 to 4. Was that no, sorry, it's 4 to 4.25. But anyway, we're looking now at a 50 basis point hike being the most likely scenario. I anticipate, if I refresh this, but market is not open, depends on the time zone. I always get a little bit confused around now, because the clocks have changed, and I still can't get the hang of it, because they haven't changed for me, but they've changed for everyone else. So yeah, as you can see here, a 71% chance of a 50 basis point hike. I think overall, Jerome Powell has done a really good job. He's going to feel that way. The rest of the Fed are going to feel that way. And I think this is then going to lead into that story that, in fact, they have done enough and don't necessarily need to do too much more. And that's kind of where we are for now. Also, the pound jumping, which is quite nice for you and your cost of living crisis over in the UK there, AJ.
Yeah, definitely. And I was going to add on as well. I know there's a chart. I don't know if you still had it up. There was a chart that I wanted to show people, but I couldn't quite find it. It was what was it now? I've completely forgotten.
2-year, 10-year?
No, it was to do with I'm gonna have to come back to you on that one. Oh yeah, so when the Fed pivots.
Oh yeah.
What happens to the S&P?
Oh, mate, that's going to be impossible. Yeah, because I remember referencing that in one of the videos prior.
Yeah.
If you, yeah, bring us through the charts, and I'll go and have a look at that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll answer some questions here while you go through. So we have Crippy expecting a 1850 to a 18,500 to a 19,200, and then possibly a pullback. So how does that line up? I see you've got what is this? Was that a daily level 18,500 roughly? This blue line at the top here. Does that kind of line up?
Crippy's been putting in a few comments recently, and he's been thinking about $18,500 being that next target, and yes, that is a possibility, and that's sort of the bullish case for me as well. From my technical analysis, we have a daily level, a major daily level at 18,460. So yeah, pretty much $18,500, and then if we come to this chart here as well, the daily chart, we can see that we have a major previous support level at this level. As you can see, support there, support there, support there, support there, support there, just tons of support. So it's going to act as major resistance. So this would be the next level that I would expect the price to come up to. But again, it's all down to volume as well. We need a bit more volume to come in to push us up there. And, that's very possible with what's come out now, the core inflation rate and the inflation rate coming in under than actually forecasted. This could be what brings that bullish volume in and can bring us up there. But still, for me, if we're not going to get a big spike in bullish volume and we do see the price come up to, you know, this major resistance level here, then yeah, again, I think, you know, we could see a pullback, like Crippy said. I think we could see a pullback from there as well if the volume is going to continue to decrease. Because when we're seeing the price go up but the volume decrease, it's not a sustainable pump at all. And we are going to see a pullback if that is the case. When that pullback occurs, we are unsure. And, you know, if it does come up to this level, then I will most likely be looking to short it. You know, as you know, we've had a short open. Unfortunately, that's literally just been stopped out a few minutes ago. We had a major resistance level here. I was looking to short this. I did short this. It was in and out of profits, but unfortunately, it's hit the stop loss. You know, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for those major resistance levels to short, and the next level that I would be looking at is around $18,500 and a bit above as well. That would be the next level where I'd be looking to short, only if the volume continues to stay as it is, as in price going up, and then the volume is still decreasing. So I'd like to see that to actually enter a short there. But if the bullish volume decides to start coming in, then I wouldn't necessarily be looking to short there, because if we can get enough bullish volume, there's a possibility we could break this resistance level, you know, around, well, between $18,500 and sort of $19,000. So we do just have to be aware of that as well. Volume is the biggest thing that we should be looking at right now, because, yeah, as I said, you know, we're pushing towards the upside, but with absolutely no volume at all. So for me right now, it's not sustainable unless we can get bullish volume coming in.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely true. There was a question. I need to quickly, yeah. So just to kind of highlight this question that we have here from, who is it? Also Doomslayer. So inflation is down, which is overall a very, very good thing for the economy, for the Fed, for everyone, investors in general, because, you know, remember, as inflation was going up, everyone was panic selling, etc. But now we're seeing inflation go down. That's when everyone's now excited about being in the markets again. There was a question here from Ashan. What happened to Binance? So what happened to Binance? Let me just quickly bring this up onto my screen. So as you know, there's been a couple different news stories floating around. One of them is of a market maker. So a market maker is essentially someone that sits in between someone who wants to make an order and someone who's kind of pretty much fulfilling the order. So, you know, I can start up a currency exchange, or, you know, like a crypto exchange, a forex exchange, whatever, but I need a market maker to be able to help me with some of the funding. And, you know, they say, I say, okay, this is the order that needs to be filled. You know, Mr. Market Maker, can you give that guy the money for me? And that's a very simplified version, but essentially what they do. So market maker Jump Trading is among those pulling funds from Binance's platform. Now, I think this is just a bit of a contagion event. Jump took out 18.4 million in the past 24 hours. And what's worrying is that there's 123.4 million in the last 7 days on the Ethereum blockchain. So kind of looking at this, we can see, Binance coin has been hit pretty hard. Obviously, you know, from the whole FTX bankruptcy, but this is the concern. It's unusual to see steady flows without any inflows at all, or steady outflows, I should say. Plus, Binance they've frozen withdrawals of stablecoin USDC as rattled investors pull 2 billion in funds. So there is a little bit of concern. Overall, I don't think it's a massive issue. You know, having seen think about their volume, think about how much money they have. They've got an amazing amount of money, but also they do have the recovery fund. I don't think this is a run on the bank type thing. I could be proved horrendously wrong, just like a lot of people before the FTX. You know, I don't want to be like Sam Bankman-Fried the day before he goes bankrupt and be like, everything's fine. We have your money. That's my overall opinion. But we do have to be made aware of this, that there is currently a lot of money coming off of exchange at Binance. But yeah, this is so you know, do your own research, take it with a pinch of salt. I would always say you should take your money off of exchanges. I don't know if this is just recently because we're seeing the likes of the SEC getting involved. We're seeing and this again another thing, SEC charges former FTX CEO for defrauding investors a day after he's arrested, which, as we all know, was in the Bahamas. So he was actually arrested in the Bahamas, and now the SEC are getting involved. So I think this is just a case of, Jesus, this is going to be like very criminal, very public, and also extremely bad for the credibility of crypto. So if we are potentially seeing another run to the downside, if we've seen that, Bitcoin is now pumping, we're at what, like 18K, maybe it's just a knee-jerk reaction where everyone's like, let me take my money off the exchange, which I think we should do for every single exchange. If I had faith in, in a few, obviously Femex, Bybit, and Binance would probably be the ones that I would be trusting the most. Well, in fact, they are. But yeah, I would say, with Binance, just to answer that question, I don't think there's anything too serious, if you know what I mean. That's my overall view there.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. They're another, well, like FTX, they're another exchange considered too big to fail.
Well, yeah, but that didn't work out, did it? So that aged like fine wine.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a great scenario that was. But anyway, let's just bring up the charts and see how we have see what we have going on for us, AJ.
Yeah.
Is Bitcoin still doing okay?
Sort of just sitting under $18,000 right now at $17,900. For me, the news has come out. Okay, we've seen the pump. If we want to see this pump continue, we need that bullish volume coming in to continue this push towards the upside. For me, if we're not going to see a continuation and we're not going to see the bullish volume coming in, then we're most likely going to see a pullback. Yes, there is a possibility we could come up if the bulls can continue this momentum towards the upside. Then yes, we could come up to $18,500. And maybe even higher as well. But for me, it's just not looking very bullish. The volume is looking prime for a fake out and prime for a bull trap. So just be careful there if you're thinking about entering into any long positions, because the bullish volume just is not there, and that's sort of the whole thing that we're waiting for right now. Crippy mentioned, if you pull the fib from the from the 5th of November to the high on the 5th of November to the low, the previous low, and the 618, well, the golden pocket comes in at $19,200. I've done that, and yes, it does come in at around $19,200, and then the 066 comes in at around $19,450. That's obviously going to be a resistance level, but for me, first of all, we have this resistance here, this major blue box here. If we get above that, then we look at the fib for the next resistance level. For me, I would have liked to seen the fib and this resistance coming in confluence. If they were coming in more confluence, then that would be a really, really great shorting opportunity. But if we were to come up to this resistance level here, or even the fib level, we would want to look for confluence to actually enter that short position. We can't just use one technical analysis tool, such as a resistance level or just a fib level. We would want to see confluence, but for me, it's the same story. Okay, we're not going to see this price continue towards the upside unless we get a bit more bullish volume in. We don't even have to have a big spike in bullish volume. We just need to have a bigger amount of volume that we're having now. Even just maybe a candle like that. That would be enough, to push that price high, get to these possible resistance levels. But if we don't even get a candle like that, I wouldn't expect the price to come up there, because as you can see, that bullish, we're having this pump, but we're still getting a smaller size and volume than the previous pump, which was actually a smaller pump. As you can see, this green candle here, the volume within that pump is actually bigger than the volume that we're getting in this pump right here. So, for me, it's still not looking like a sustainable pump, and this pump cannot continue unless we get that bullish volume coming in. I know I keep saying that, I've said it in every video, but it's the moral of the story. And if we're going to see it continue to push towards the upside and the volume continue to decrease, then I would expect to see a pretty hefty pullback. But we do have resistance levels up here, and those could be the next levels that we're looking at if we get a little bit more volume coming in. I would be keeping an eye out for $18,500, maybe even to $19,500 if we do get a bit more bullish volume coming in. Otherwise, I think we would struggle to even get above $18,000, and then from there potentially a pretty big pullback. As I said, if we don't get that bullish volume coming in, the bulls need to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, that is true. But just as Brucey's just said here, that volume is going right down, which it is. And to tie in something that you mentioned earlier here, AJ, just to bring up my my screen, we can see here. This is what I mentioned a couple days ago, whenever it was. The majority of decline in these bear markets occur after the Fed's pivot. So it's a bit rudimentary. You can't entirely see it here. But basically, whenever we have the Fed fund, actually, I'll just go back and a little bit of an overview about the Fed fund rate. This is the one. We know we're still raising the Fed fund rate, okay? This is the rate of borrowing. It's at 4%, and it's just, it's going to be increasing. The question is, how much is it going to be increasing? So we're going to get to a point where the question becomes, well, should we be increasing it? And when does the Fed start bringing that rate down? When do they go from, let's say we finish at 5%? When do they start bringing it down to 4.5, down to 4? Because obviously it's going to be a cycle. And so when this happens, what are we potentially looking out for? So just looking at this one chart, we can see here the Fed funds effective rate, which is the rate I've just been talking about, 4%, blah, 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 blah. Whenever we see this start to come down, we also see the Fed pivot here, minus 51% drop. And again, we go through cycles, 2008 and whatever, the Fed fund rate, begins to increase. As soon as they drop it, I think 2008, there was a lot of shady stuff that was going on, so maybe not truly representative. But again, around 2018, 2019, 2019 or so, 2018, we had the Fed pivot and still a big drop. And again, bringing us into, the 1980s, 70s, etc. Whenever we do have these rate drops, there's typically more downside. So it's not always the case that it's exactly on the first day, as soon as there's a pivot, but you can definitely see potentially more downside coming up once we have a pivot of the Fed, because that's essentially them saying, look, guys, maybe we've over tightened. And so there is still quite a high chance of a recession to come. In fact, I'll find an article, but I believe it was Bloomberg that said there's around a 90? I want to say a 99% chance of a recession. And so this is the kind of the story that everyone's talking about. We are pretty much guaranteed to get a recession. So it's not great. Brucey, I would draw a line, but this is just a little, unfortunately, it's just a still. I can't find this original thing. Actually,
I don't know if he was mentioning on the volume. I did just draw a line for him. I think he might have been mentioning the volume because it was in the same time frame as when he said that volume is going down. I think that's what he meant, but I've drawn a line here. You can very clearly see that volume is still going down. I would say that the volume started there, but it's a bit clearer if you draw it like this. You can very clearly see their volume is continuing to decrease, and the prices continue to go up, which is very, very, very bearish if you ask me. JK Videos asked, please update us once you enter your next short position. As always, whenever I make a trade, I will be 100% transparent with you. Whenever I win a trade, I'll be transparent with you. Whenever I lose a trade, I'll be transparent with you as well. We've just literally lost a trade. Unfortunately, it was around $300 loss. Compared to our winning trades, that's nothing at all. The last trade we took a 10% loss on this. The last trade we took was 120%. We made around $4,000 on that, and we made a lot more in the past as well. And, you know, we made 10 trades over the past 2-3 months. And yeah, 8 of them winning, 2 of them losing. So, you know, it's not a bad streak at all. But yes, I will update. I will update everyone when I enter my next short position. For me right now, it's looking more likely to enter a short position still, even on the fundamental side of things as well, because yes, CPI has come in, you know, better than we expected it to, really. You know, better than forecasted, but it's still very, very high. So, you know, for
Yeah,
me,
true.
I don't know what your take on it, Ben, is, but, you know, I'm not really a fundamentalist at all. But, you know, the CPI data is still very high, which is, you know, still very bad, I do think.
Yeah, no, it is. It's worryingly high, and also because it's been high for so long, I think a recession is guaranteed.
Yeah.
Sorry, got this little doggies here. Come to say hello. Uh, me. So I absolutely agree. It's been too high for too long, and I think it's almost guaranteed that we are going to have a recession, and as a result, we are not going to see asset prices rip at the beginning of the year. I think maybe coming into Q2, we could see quite a positive like reflection of asset prices. Such as like S&P 500, Bitcoin, etc. But for now, there is so much negativity, and we still also have to consider that we're going to have earnings season coming into effect.
Yeah.
Can you just quickly look at the DXY, which I believe has taken a small leg to the downside
Yeah.
on release of the CPI news, but that's been in quite a strong trend to the downside, hasn't it?
It has, yeah, you know, forming very, very obvious lower lows. You know, we got high, low, high, lower low, lower 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 high, and we're obviously forming another lower low now. So yeah, in a very, very obvious downtrend on the DXY, breaking major support as well. You know, we could look at this and say this is good for the crypto market. But for me, I would like to see a bit more data, more candlesticks of them being inversely correlated, because recently they haven't been inversely
Yeah, I
correlated to
agree.
such, because we've seen the DXY come down, but we've also seen Bitcoin come down as well. So yeah, I would like to see them, you know, maybe for a few more days be more inversely correlated before I start actually looking at the DXY to help me predict where the price of Bitcoin is going. But yeah, as of right now, they're looking like they are sort of becoming inversely correlated once again.
Yeah, and just also to kind of the reason why I wanted to look at the DXY and also talk about recession in the same token is that if you look at this, a lot of the recessionary conversation started between October, November. And so that's, the DXY is pretty much a representation of, arguably the US economy. How much is the US
Yeah,
dollar worth? Which is very closely linked to how much is the US economy worth. All the money is probably worth the same as all of the economy. And so I think we will continue to see this move to the downside. And just as you said, AJ, I think that link between the DXY and Bitcoin won't necessarily exist as much, because people were moving money out of risky assets like crypto. They were moving into bonds. They were moving into the DXY, and just into the wider US economy. But I think the US economy is now pretty much certain that we're going to get a recession. And so
yeah,
that will affect asset prices, and we will see the DXY continue to move to the downside. So a
yeah,
potential shorting opportunity if you don't like the DXY or the US economy. I know a lot of different investors also don't like it very much either.
yeah,
So that's what we are. What we're going to be dealing with, whether crypto can kind of come out and put itself in a separate class, that would probably be the only differentiator. Like I would argue, gold does. Gold is fairly separate to pretty much all stocks and whatever. I mean, it's a bit of a hedge against stocks, so you would
yeah.
expect it to be going up as of late. But I haven't actually seen gold in ages. But I hope this kind of gives you a bit of an idea of what we're going to be dealing with, shall we say?
Yeah, I can bring the gold up quick on the charts. Actually, I did look at it the other
Yeah,
day.
bring it up. I'm just want to quickly, as you do that, I'll just quickly
It-
share my screen and show everybody. If you are worried about Binance, any of the different exchanges, though, heads up, you can go to CoinMarketCap, and a lot more have updated it now than previously. So you can look at the exchange reserve data. So you can go through this. It's just a very nice, easy place. You can do more research. But yeah, you can look at the volume. That's like what, $14 billion? Pretty bloody crazy. And then all the assets they have. Sam Bankman-Fried would have a bloody field day with that, wouldn't he? But yeah, so looking through, you know, you can go through all of their different. I believe this is their holdings from different wallets. You know, the issue, and this is again something I brought up before. If someone like Bankman-Fried did this, he had a lot of money and said, "Hey, look at my total reserves." If there's a lot of it in your own coin, and your own coin starts to go down, your exchange is going to go down because you don't have, you know, $8 billion locked up anymore. So we have to take into consideration, if Binance does start to see a run on the bank, we would see Binance token start to fall down. So if we see more and more of these headlines, you know, Binance hit by this, crypto exchange Binance freezes withdrawals. The more and more we see of that, the less reliable this BNB will become. And so the less that we should incorporate it into calculations of whether they have enough money. You know, BUSD is obviously solid 12 billion just in dollars, because it's a stable coin, so it's always going to stay that way. And then, you know, same with USD as well, etc. So just keep that into account, and then obviously whoever you're with, you can just go through and find out exactly how much they have, etc. So looking at OKX, or you might want to go through Bybit, for example, and you can actually go and have a look at their wallets themselves, copy and paste. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention if you do have any concerns.
Yeah.
We'll bring up gold.
Sorry. Yeah, looking at gold, for me, gold it was actually looking quite bullish, to be honest with you. You know, we were in a massive downtrend here. You can see this downtrending trend line right here. You know, we tested it multiple times. We broke towards the upside, slight retest there, bounce, and now we are seeing gold actually push towards the upside. So, you know, we could see gold actually continue to push towards the upside. And, you know, I would expect it, just looking at this chart right here. Gold is looking fairly bullish for me right now. And I would expect a lot of people to be putting their money into gold because, well, it's quite a safe place to put your money, personally.
It is. And also just notice, so when we get to that like October, November time, especially November, as we see this tear beginning to happen, you know, just a couple months ago, the end of this downtrend, if we then just quickly jump onto the DXY, so we can see a downtrend in gold from like March. And then, you know, it keeps going down until November, and then it goes on a tear. So if we then look at the DXY, it's the complete inverse. So this is a really nice inverse relationship where, looking back to like March, we see the DXY only go up, and then we get to November and it starts to come down. So this is then just, you know, what I want to paint the picture of. The financial markets are very much just a puzzle that you can kind of begin to work out. And a lot of things are correlated very closely. So it's just a case of, you know, knowing what are people betting on at the time and how can you jump into those and make money. So, you know, obviously people aren't betting on risky assets. Like, I'm surprised that we're seeing at the moment, you know, let's say Microsoft jump by 2%. But yeah, as people have less faith in the US economy, they're going to start buying these safer assets such as gold and precious metals and things like this.
Yeah, definitely. There is another thing I just wanted to add for Bitcoin as well. You know, we're still forming these lower lows on Bitcoin, and you know, for me, to get really bullish on Bitcoin. For me, we need to break this cycle that we're in, this downtrending cycle. Right now, that would be $21,300 approximately to start becoming really bullish. I don't see that happening anytime soon. We do have, on this chart here as well, we do have major resistance coming in at $18,800. We're getting pretty close to that. But again, you know, looking at this weekly, we're still forming lower lows. We're still in this downtrend, and we could see this continue unless, you know, we break, as I said, you know, around 21,000 $300. If we break that, then, you know, we're breaking that downtrend, and we could see something like what we saw just now on gold. You know, we had that big downtrend, but now we are seeing a push towards the upside. But for me, we need bullish volume for that. Right now, coming back to this daily, bullish volume just isn't quite there yet. And, you know, that's why I'm still remaining bearish. It looks to me right now that the price is sort of stabilizing around this $17,900 level. Now, if I just get rid of a few, let me just get rid of a few drawings here. So let's get rid of these trend lines right here and that parallel channel. Yeah, I remember someone mentioned actually the parallel channel. How about that parallel channel? Yeah, the parallel channel is still being respected on this daily as well, and we could still see the price of Bitcoin respect this parallel channel. And, you know, we actually could see Bitcoin come up to $18,500 potentially in the next, you know, 3 days if we do get that bullish volume in, and it still remain within this parallel channel. So, you know, that's sort of a cluster of resistance that we are looking at there to potentially short. I would like to find one other cluster of resistance, potentially some sort of bearish divergence. That's what I like to look for. But yeah, we'll get to that if we do see the price come up to this resistance level here, or to the top of the parallel channel. But for me right now, what I am looking at is maybe even potentially a period of consolidation here on the daily. So what we can see is we have this sort of previous high from the 10th of November here. That's coming in at $18,160 approximately. And this is, you know, what I sort of want to teach you as well. This is where I start to look at potential fixed ranges. Okay, this is how I would first spot one. Okay, so we have previous high here. Okay, we have some lows here, we have 2 lows here, and now we're sort of getting this this second high, and potentially, you know, oh, that's the fib. If we get this fixed range out here and we drag this from the high to the low, we can see that we're starting to potentially form some sort of fixed range here that we can actually trade off. Now, right now, for me, there's not enough data to actually trade this. So, you know, I wouldn't trade this. I'd like to see this become a high here. Then we see the price pull back. And then we start to see the fixed range actually become a bit more, look a bit more normal, because right now, you know, we're seeing it's very squeezed. You know, we're seeing these big moves to the upside, these big moves towards the downside. We would like to see smaller moves, especially on this daily chart here. It's okay if we see bigger moves on the 4-hour, because, you know, realistically, it's not a massive move. But right now, it's from $16,400 all the way down to $15,400. So that's a pretty big move. So we want to get a little bit more data, so this becomes a bit more effective, this fixed range. But this is how I would start to look for a fixed range, and this is something that we could see occur. We could start looking at a fixed range potentially being formed here. But for that to happen, I'd like to see a rejection from this level here, come back down, maybe test the lows here again, and then potentially see a slight bounce off here. Then we can draw that in again, and then I'm pretty sure, you know, it would look, you know, the value area high would come in around here, the value area low would come in around here as well, and then we can start looking at actually trading that fixed range. So potentially another trading range being formed here. But yeah, again, I'm still expecting that pullback, and I would sort of expect that pullback from sort of this vicinity here. I know it's a big vicinity, but if we do get a bit more bullish volume coming in, then we could see the price actually come to those resistance levels that I've been talking about. But if we don't see that, then we're most likely going to see a pullback. A fake pump will drop back to 16,000. That's what Richard said. You know, I think that's very possible. You know, looking at the volume, this happens every single time we see this. You know, when the price pushes up, when the volume decreases, every single time we see the price pull back. You know, the bears then take control and pump that. So, Richard, I do agree with you, but, you know, maybe we could see a little bit higher before the pullback. But yeah, just wanted to add on to that.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I mean, look, guys, do you have any other questions in specific, whether it's about you know, what Jerome Powell might do? And because one thing we have to keep in mind, we do have tomorrow quite a big announcement. So we have the US, the Fed press conference, and also the new interest rate decision, etc. Say that again, sorry? Yeah.
I've got it on my screen.
Yes. So yeah, so we do have these coming up tomorrow. There's also core inflation coming out of the UK. But yeah, that we're primarily kind of focusing on what the Fed are going to say tomorrow. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. Although it comes in, that's a bit of a late one. That is 11:30. Maybe I'll be live. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll be live, but I'll definitely do an overview as to exactly what it means. Because I want to go through the FOMC economic projections, because that's going to give us a really solid idea as to where they think everything is going to go. Because we can see their ones from previously, but they said, look, the final rate for us or final inflation is anticipated to be like around, I think it said like 5%, but we're still on 6%,
Yeah.
and we haven't got another report to go. So it's great success.
Yeah,
um,
for me, we're still very high. I know we've come in lower than expected, but we're still very high, and for me, that's still very bad. And even just looking at it on a technical standpoint as well, it looks as though this pump has finished. I don't know if you agree, Ben, but
yeah,
we're not seeing that momentum continue, and that volume is still decreasing. So for me, this pump potentially has actually already finished. Everyone got a little bit excited. Maybe some people made some money on longing Bitcoin. But there's no real incentive. I don't see any real incentive to continue to push this price higher because the volume isn't there. So yeah, we'll have to see what tomorrow brings. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, we have the FOMC meeting tomorrow, so we'll have to see. If maybe some more bulls can come in there and push the price higher. If not, then we're most likely going to go down.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it'll be interesting. We'll see how everything fares over the rest of the trading day. Obviously, this is quite early in the US session for us to get this bit of news. So that's it's like very nice start to the morning. Whether people will just kind of take their 1.5% that they've already got and secured, which I think maybe is most likely. But we are seeing an awful lot of of momentum to the upside, which is pretty good. If anyone's here from the US, what time is it? I'll just Google it, actually. My bad. Time in New York. Is the stock exchange open yet? That's what I want to know. It's not open. It's only 9:10. Right, okay. That would explain why the S&P isn't up. I'm like,
Yeah, looking
well,
at the futures,
surely you should have
if I
seen
bring up
some pump here.
I'll bring up the futures here. The S&P 500 futures, that's up. We're coming into resistance
Yeah.
there.
Okay,
So
yeah, there we go.
we'll see what goes on.
I was
Yeah,
just looking at
maybe
previous
when we
close.
see the market open, then we can see potentially Bitcoin have another leg towards the upside. If we do see another leg towards the upside for the S&P when that market opens, but yeah, we'll have to see on that as well. But yeah, for me, it's still coming back to that volume. That volume's decreasing whilst the price is increasing. It's not a sustainable pump.
Yeah.
I've seen someone commented, which is the most safe wallet, Exodus or Coinbase? I'm not,
Probably
to be honest
Ledger.
with you, I'm not sure. I used to use Exodus a lot. I had never had any problems with that. When I first got into crypto, I used Coinbase a lot. I never had any problems with that. I don't know what your opinion on that is. I know Coinbase is
I
a lot
think,
bigger.
yeah. I think like I like what Brucey said. So I would say Exodus for sure. Coinbase is attached to an exchange, which yes,
True.
you are
Yeah.
correct. I think just cold storage, to be fair. That would probably be that would be my my recommendation.
Yeah.
But yeah, choosing between the two, yeah, if they're both online, they're still both there's a risk. There's always a
I,
risk, isn't there?
yeah. I'm not 100% sure about. I feel like Exodus might even have a cold storage wallet that you have in your computer.
Do they?
I'm
I
not.
haven't used
I'm
them in
not
a
100%
while.
sure. I used to on my old computer. I used to have Exodus, and I used to have an app, and I don't think I needed the Wi-Fi for
Me
that.
too.
Um,
Yeah, so I used to have that as well, because I think that's what I used to use for Cardano quite a lot.
yeah,
Um, and I don't know, yeah, because I was in the Middle East, and it was quite hard at the time anyway to
yeah,
be purchasing certain crypto. Um, so yeah, that's what I used, but talking years ago. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, if anyone has an idea, then
Yeah,
drop us a
Brucey
little
says Exodus is
line.
closer to a cold wallet than Coinbase.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'll have to look up that. I've got it on my old computer. That's where I've got all my altcoins that I haven't looked at in about a year. There's not much in there, but
Well,
I'll have a little look.
that's not gonna do you any
But
favors, is it?
sorry.
That's not gonna do you any favors. Like it's
No,
like
no,
telling your
it's not.
girlfriend, like, "Hey, do you wanna watch a horror movie?" "Oh yeah, what is it?"
Just
I'm
open
gonna
my
open
old
up my
laptop, open
I'm gonna
Exodus.
open up my yeah,
Yeah,
altcoin
yeah, but
portfolio.
yeah, I did throughout the previous bull market. I did hold pretty much all of my. This was before I had a cold storage wallet. I held pretty much all of my altcoins on there, but of course, because we came into the bear market, I did sell off a lot of my altcoins. I do still have a little bit in there, but I've never had any problems with it. And yeah, I'll look up and see if they do have a cold storage wallet, because I know I downloaded it on my old computer, and I didn't think I needed the Wi-Fi for it, which for me is a cold storage wallet.
That's good.
But yeah, I'll double check when I check it out.
There you go. Okay. Well, look, guys, thank you very much. It's been fantastic. Obviously, I wasn't entirely sure about the what was it called? The title. CPI will make you rich. It turns out it could have. We went for it. We went full send. Had a few sneaking suspicions, thinking about thinking about which way it would go. Turns out it did move to the upside, for the markets, which is really, really good. And obviously that means lower inflation. The Fed are going to be more happy to let us do our own thing and like start pumping money into the markets. And they won't be trying to make everyone poor, which is overall a very good scenario for us. So we're happy about that.
Yeah. Clause M said, should a 0.5% increase come in tomorrow with Jan and Feb the same value, do you think we are going to build enough momentum to go risk on? For me,
Yeah, I think
if we
so.
can bring the bullish
I,
volume
I
in, then of course, yes. But if the bullish volume is not going to come in, then we're not going to see this momentum continue. And just looking at this chart here, this is what I've been preaching for ages. The price is going up, but the volume is going down. It's not a sustainable pump unless we can get a big spike in bullish volume. If we can get a big spike in bullish volume, then yes, this pump can continue towards the upside, and maybe yes, we could go risk on. But right now, for me, I am risk off because price is going up, volume's going down. It's not sustainable at all. So we'll have to see tomorrow and see whether we get any bullish volume coming in. I don't know if you had anything to say on that, Ben.
No, I just want to clarify. I think he was talking about the Fed rate increase.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking he was talking about as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, and you're absolutely correct. Where it is a case of, look, it does just depend on what the market does. Nothing in this world actually costs anything or has any value. It's just what people want to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I overall, like I said, we do have this, which kind of gives us a bit of a sample of fear. But overall, we are generally seeing asset prices increase as we see CPI come down and as we see these numbers go up. So as the Fed continues to increase the rate hikes, we are hoping, and everything is looking pretty good, that CPI is going to be under control. Once inflation comes down, we should then see more people moving into the risky assets. They won't jump straight into risky assets, but we will generally see risky assets increase. And that's going to bring the volume, which we've been talking about so much.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider. But like you
inflation's
said,
still
AJ.
very, very high, so I wouldn't expect
Oh
people
yeah.
to be going on risk on right now. I wouldn't expect it at all.
No, yeah, exactly. So we are still a few months away. Like I said, I don't think Q1 is going to be a good time to be buying into new cryptos. I think that we are kind of looking more so at, maybe seeing a bottom relatively soon. But even if we see a bottom, it's not going to be like, bomb, let's go. It's just going to be a case of, okay, we've hit the bottom and we're slowly going to, increase our way up.
Mhm.
which will it's going to give us quite a lot of buying opportunities, though. So we shouldn't be mad about that, should we?
No, no, we shouldn't at all. You know, I know for myself, I've got a lot of cash on the side, ready to buy the lows. Well, the lows that I'm expecting, you know, 14,000, 12,000, 10,000. So, yeah,
Buy the dip, baby.
yeah, exactly.
That's what I want to end it with. Buy the dip, baby. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, please smash a like on this video. Would be really appreciated. And yeah, I guess we'll see you both. You'll see us both in the next live stream.
Yes, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Helps us out, and also just 2 clicks and you've liked and subbed, and we can go home and feel very happy. We can sleep well tonight. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. See you later.
See you later.